Hi, everybody. It's another beautiful day in northern Illinois, and we've got our snow. It's starting to compact, which is fun. And it's kind of fun watching myself doing these live streams because I get to watch the snow fall from the trees, and sometimes the squirrels run across behind me. Hi, Juanita. Good to see you. And it's fun. It keeps me entertained while I'm doing the live streams, besides saying hi to everybody. Hi, Gail. Great to see you. So, today I thought would be a little bit of a story day. Just to get people to understand how I got to where I'm at right now. Hi, Johnny. Good to see you. So, when I hit 30, I had all sorts of things going on. On the outside, I looked really perfect. I had the perfect job. I had the perfect, degree. I'm good, Johnny. Thanks. I had the perfect degree. I just got married. I'd gotten a great house, and I'd spent, the first 30 years of my life living in a way that other people told me I should live. And it made me a really great success on the outside because, people would say you need to do this, you need to do that, and I did all those things. I got the good grades. I studied hard. I kept myself chaste because I was Catholic and all of that great stuff. I did what I was supposed to do. But the problem was that I was ruining my health and I was sick every day and I was starting to ruin my marriage. And soon afterwards, I lost my dream career. Everything really fell apart, and it fell apart. It had been coming for a long time. And so I spent, those first 30 years doing what I was supposed to do and reacting to people and taking care of their needs and being there for them and caring about them and really putting myself second, putting everybody else first. And I did that, but I was self-destructing and I was losing everything that I was supposed to have, that I'd worked really hard to get. Now I know, of course, that you can either call that being codependent, where your happiness and well-being are dependent upon, external circumstances and dependent upon people outside of you, or it's also called being in fight or flight, where your body is releasing adrenaline all the time or a lot, and you're reacting to everything, and your body inside, no matter how you look on the outside, inside of your body, it's still reacting hard. It's still making your heart beat fast and your back lock up and your shoulders lock up and your face kind of freeze into a mask and your stomach be upset and have digestive issues and Crohn's disease and fibromyalgia and all of those things. So you could either call it codependency or you could call it fight or flight, but either way, my happiness and well-being had been dependent upon everybody else around me. And when I started to lose everything, when I started to lose what was most valuable to me, everything I'd worked hard to get, including my sanity and my well-being, I realized I really had to change things. And I asked myself 5 questions. And the 5 questions came about over, a couple years as I was doing this work and changing things around. But the first question I had to ask when I was feeling like that and I was sick and I didn't know why and I was having trouble in all these areas of my life was how can I rescue myself right now? How do I get out of this immediate problem? And that was question number 1 for me. When I was in crisis and when I was in fight or flight, the first thing I had to ask, and I did ask, was how do I save myself? And that started me on a journey of, all the different ways that we rescue ourselves, from making sure that we take our vitamin D to taking time out for ourselves to relax, to baths, to fighting back, all of those things. How do I protect myself and rescue myself right now? So that was the first question that I asked. That then moved to the second question, which was, how do I stop betraying myself? How do I stop sabotaging myself and letting myself down? How do I honor those parts and pieces of me? And how do I love myself So it was really, how do I stop betraying myself and instead start loving myself? That was a big question. So that was question number 2. And that dove me into emotions and into passion and compassion and feeling things, and how do we get unstuck, and how do we get angry, and how do we move these feelings? So that was question number 2. Question number 3 then came up. And question number 3 was, how do I take my power back? How do I start running my own life? And that took me into perspectives. It took me into looking at the world in a different way. How do I change how I view the world? How do I stop letting everybody around me dictate how I should live, or what I should do, or how I should feel? And not only how I should, but how I am feeling. How do I take that power back from everybody else and break that codependency and cut that tie, and really start deciding for myself how to take that control into my life again. So that led me then into question number 4. And question number 4 was, hi Jackie, good to see you. Question number 4 was, what don't I understand? And that took me into all sorts of these great body-mind adventures, and adventures out into the world, and relationship adventures, and fun things, and hang gliding and hiking, and going to Colombia and going to different islands and hanging out with Native Americans and learning about my Irish roots. And I needed to know, what don't I understand? Because when we don't understand something, we can't actually evolve or grow. We can't get outside of our box because we're so conflicted trying to figure out why this is happening to me. So, I kept saying, why is this happening? What don't I understand? And so that let my curiosity really come to the forefront. Hi, Teresa. Good to see you. That let my curiosity really come to the forefront, and start to explore things and look at things from different points of view, and really start playing with life. What's it like to be, the big man on campus? And what's it like to be, the ant underneath somebody's shoe? What's it like to be happy, ecstatic, over the top? And what is it like to be, at the bottom of the heap? And I wanted to start to play all these different roles and try out all these different points of view. And my curiosity took the best of me. Hi, Dana. Good to see you. So I wanted to know, what don't I understand? And that then led me to the 5th question. And the 5th question was, how do I make the next half of my life better than the first half? How do I shape my future? How do I, purposefully, mindfully create the life that I want, not that the world wants for me or the people in my life wish I would be, some puppet that would do exactly what they wanted when they wanted me to do it. Hi, Victoria, good to see you. Or, some cog in a wheel that would just be quiet and do her job and, keep working away, just, stop complaining, don't have problems, or this perfect daughter of, how do I be the most caring, supportive, understanding, nurturing, successful human being on the planet? So how do I really shape my future in the way that I want it to look like? And it's still is successful on the external, but also feels really good on the inside. So I started asking those 5 questions, and those 5 questions would swirl around. I'd do one question, and then I would do another question, and, I would go back and forth, but it always had those 5 till I finally kind of brought them together, and I called it polishing the mirror, because Rumi is one of my favorite poets, and one of his lines in one of his poems is about polishing the mirror. And it's not that you fix something or you find the solution. It's that you keep polishing your own mirror and cleaning things up. And I found when I would go through these 5 questions, how can I save myself right now? How do I stop betraying myself and love myself instead? How do I take back my power? What don't I understand? And how do I shape my future so it looks the way that I want it to look? When I kept asking those questions, then I kept polishing my mirror, and it kept me moving forward on my path. And I found that by working those questions, by coming back to them time after time after time, I would look around me and realize that I was moving in that direction. You know, have you ever looked back in your life and said, how did I get here? This is exactly where I wanted to be. And that's what happened. When you start asking yourself those 5 questions, then soon enough, you'll be looking behind your shoulder and saying, how did I get here? Not in a way that says, how did I get here? Oh my God, this is terrible. But how did I get everything that I always wanted to have? And it's based on every day now asking myself those questions, which are, again, how do I save myself? How do I rescue myself? How do I love myself? How do I take back my power? What don't I understand? And how do I shape my future? And if you take some time every day and ask yourself those questions, the neat thing is your subconscious and your higher power starts giving you answers. It starts solving those problems for you. It's just been waiting for you to ask yourself the right questions. Not what should I do or who should I be? Not any of those shoulds. But instead those deeper questions. How? How do I do this? How do I save my life? How do I turn my life into the way that I want it to look like? So I challenge you. Hi, Veronica. Nice to see you again. So I challenge you to start asking yourself these questions every single day. And you don't have to come up with the answer. You don't have to solve it. Instead, what happens is it's similar to Marianne Williamson and her book Course in, and her work Course in Miracles, is where you ask for a miracle and the answer shows up. So you don't have to figure it out. All you really need to do is to ask the questions. And when you ask the questions and stay open to the answers, then they show up. And then once the answers are there, it's actually not that hard to follow through, because it's not a mental answer, it's a heart and a body answer. And you're asking a question that's in your best interests. You're asking a question that you want to answer, because it's not about anybody else. It's not about anybody else's expectations on you or wants or desires about who you should be or what you should do. It's your questions about your life. And we are most passionate about our own experience, about what's going on inside of us. That's what we're most passionate about. So if you ask those questions, your natural passion and curiosity and higher wisdom will start to answer them and move you in the direction that you want to go. Until you too look behind your shoulder and say, wow, how did I get here? You got here because you finally came back to yourself. You came back to your soul. And by doing that, you're going to figure everything out and you're going to be just fine. So that's it for today, the 5 questions, and I challenge you to ask yourself those on a regular basis, every day if you can. Until it just becomes a natural habit in your life. And that's what will cause you to keep spiraling up and moving forward and making a better life for you, a life that works for you, not a life that works for everybody else, but a life that works for you. Because that's the best of both worlds. You're successful not only in the world and making an impact, but you're happy about it and you enjoy doing it too. Okay? So that's it for today, and I will see you tomorrow morning at about 8:15. Okay? Bye.